Nicole, to make the presentation to our sixth inductee, please welcome eight-time world kickboxing champion, Stan the Man Longanides. "17 years ago, almost to the day, our next inductee lit up the harbour city of Sydney.
Lauren Burns captured the nation's attention when she won gold in Taekwondo when the sport debuted at the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. Burns grew up following her brother to martial arts classes as he pursued his wish to become a teenage mutant ninja turtle. Michael didn't achieve that goal, but the Taekwondo classes planted a different dream in young Lauren's mind. She had showbiz parents. Dad Ronnie Burns was a pop star and Mum Maggie Stewart a dancer, so she was always active. As her competitive aspirations grew, she won the first of her 12 national titles in 1993. The same year she made her international debut at the World Championships in New York. In 1996 she claimed a bronze medal at the World Cup in the under 51 kilogram class, and a year later another bronze at the World Championships in Hong Kong. In the lead up to the 2000 Games, she chose to train in the sport's home country of Korea under the guidance of Australian Olympic coach Jin Tae-jong. The preliminary rounds of Australia's home Olympics were noticeable for the noise that Lauren supporters generated throughout the state sports centre. The barracking crescendoed in the final of the women's under 49 kilogram class. Lauren outpointed Cuba's Urbia Melendez Rodriguez 4-2 in the final to become the first ever 49 kilogram Olympic champion. Lauren was one of only 3 Australian women to win individual gold at the Sydney Games, alongside Kathy Freeman and Susie O'Neill. Her Sydney success launched her into the national consciousness, and her autobiography, Fighting Spirit, became an inspiration for a generation of young Australians. She was inducted into the International Taekwondo Hall of Fame in 2015, and now Lauren Burns, OAM, becomes the first athlete from the sport of Taekwondo to be inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame.
Please welcome into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame from the sport of Taekwondo, Lauren Burns. Come and have a chat, Lauren. Been listening to your dad singing all about Smiley and Coalman for years, and it's nice to have a chat with you.
Yeah, thank you.
In fact, what makes someone whose pedigree, Mum was a very talented dancer, Dad was with the Flyers and then a single artist himself, but you took a different route straight to Taekwondo.
Yeah, and well, I actually went to a school that didn't believe in competitive sport as well, so ended up in a full contact martial art. But yeah, it was sort of strange beginnings, I guess. But I do think, martial arts is very much about the mind and the body and the spirit all being together. And I think a lot of part of my upbringing and my school and my family life at home, it actually helped to sort of hone that mental edge, I guess, in some ways.
That one day in Sydney was an amazing 24 hours. It was for us. I can't imagine what it would have been like for you, but just take us through when you started in the morning, because it was almost like a tsunami, the way the crowd grew, the atmosphere was insane, and you were just going from strength to strength. Take us through your feelings of that day.
Well, I very much knew that I was going to win on that day if I gave it my heart and soul. So I felt like if I gave it it was like every single bit of my being. If I put it out there on that day, I knew that I could beat all of those girls. So I was very prepared when I woke up that that's what I wanted to do. And, it's like, as Troy was saying, I felt it was pretty boring, but I had that job to do. And I knew that, in Taekwondo, all the fights are on one day. Yeah. I just had to make sure that I paced myself throughout the day. But my hardest opponent was definitely my first fight, a girl from Chinese Taipei. And I was so happy when I got the draw and I knew that I had her first fight. So I was just absolutely ready for it. So it's very much about, being in the moment and taking every fight. Yeah, self-belief, definitely. That mental edge, when you go out at an Olympic Games, everyone's got the same amount of talent physically, but it is that mental edge. And then going in, combat sport, it's about trusting yourself that you're going to make those right decisions in the moment. So Yeah, and then it just, but I was quite, it's very much about the process, and, lots of athletes here, say the same thing about that process. Even before the final, I had to lay down, I had to sleep. And people say, how did you sleep before the Olympic gold medal, final? But I knew that I had to get that rest, switch off, and then to be able to turn on, because, it's about that actual moment when you step in the ring, you step on the mat, that's when it all comes together.
Did it change your life much?
It did, yeah, and I actually, someone came up to me, afterwards, and a lot of people said, oh, this will change your life, and I didn't really realise how it would change my life, but without a doubt, it has in so many ways.
It was extraordinary because I think we only had 3 individual gold medalists in Sydney in the women's, Kathy Freeman and Susie O'Neill,
yeah.
and this little girl whose old man was a rock star, and she did some taekwondo.
Yeah, well, it was fun. I didn't realise that the whole of Australia would be watching, because it wasn't even meant to be televised, because no one thought anyone would win a medal in taekwondo. So I just thought I'll just go along and do my thing, and I had no idea that it sort of it was being televised.
Well, I think they probably decided as you won 1 and then 2, we better get over there quickly with a few cameras. And they did. Lauren Burns, OAM, you now become the first athlete from taekwondo to be inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.